NicknLex here.
Hey everyone!
How's it going, guys? So tonight we got something very exciting. We're gonna go see Kansas. I know in August, right?
Yes.
But I mean, we already got the tickets, so we're super excited. And so it's time to listen to some Kansas. And what happens? Graybeard requested some Kansas. So thank you so much, Graybeard, for that. I have heard the best of Kansas, so I'm very familiar with the band. I did listen to that album many times, but I never really listened to albums by themselves. So but today this is from the first album, self-titled Kansas,
1974,
and I can't wait. And he did tell us you know, this is gonna get proggy, but not I don't know. It's because Kansas is the different prog, right? Instead of yes. Yeah. So I'm very excited. So what do you think?
I'm excited as well. I know some Kansas enough to say I like them and I'm excited to go see them. Dust in the Wind, Carry On, Point of No Return.
I think we did that. Also I played you Song for America.
Magnum Opus.
Yeah, we've done some Kansas. So we're familiar with the band, but
this
it's just there's so many you know, albums by them. So yeah, and this is an epic one. This is a longer one. So I'm very excited. So the song we're talking about is called Apercu. Apercu. And hey, you know, Kansas, you know, so I'm very excited.
Me too. Thank you so much, Graybeard. Thank you everyone for watching this. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Consider giving us a like or subscribe if you'd like to see us again. But let's get started. We may pause for copyright reasons. Sometimes we have to pause. So let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. Thank you. 1, 2, and boom. Very good. Very nice arpeggio.
Yep.
The mist of time is still concealing the vision that I see.
So good.
Those who died have all borne witness. If only they could speak. Yet I saw it all inside me. For a moment, were you with me? Have we done it all before? Is there really so much more? Now and then we've all been given
So good, man.
a glimpse of bygone days. I'd give it all to see it clearly, not shrouded in the haze. Yet I saw it all inside me. For a moment, were you with me? Have we done it all before? Is there really so much more? much more than the eye can see. Yet still others linger deep inside you, haunting thoughts of pain and joy divide you. Look beyond your eyes at the dark and the moody sky. Oh, they're standing in your way, and I feel the light of day.
Okay, so
What
I
is
guess we
happening
found
with
a
this
little
song?
spot here. You go first. I have so much to say.
There was a point where we wanted to pause, and I feel like that was a lifetime ago because so much happened from that moment when we were going to pause to now. It's so full of just goodness, you know? It's got amazing keyboards. The drums are insane. I keep like coming back to them. The bass is very prominent, very noticeable.
Yeah.
Obviously the voices are awesome, how they like harmonize with each other.
Yes.
Just wow, the violins. I don't know if this is Robbie, who recently passed.
Yes.
But I don't. This violin is just amazing, and I had like a moment where I was clapping because I was like, in my head, you know, when we listen to all this music on the channel, typically we're listening to things that we're not able to see anymore live, you know? And I know we said we're going to go see them, but just for a second in my head, I was like, oh man, this would have been really cool to see live. And then I'm like, Oh my God. We have
Yeah,
the tickets.
I know.
So I'm really excited for August to come. And
But I mean, no, Robbie, that's somebody else. Oh, wait a minute. Was he also
we
the
did
vocalist?
a tribute to him. So he was one of the
lead singer,
violinists.
co-lead singer. Yeah, so he's the one that started singing, and then the other singer was Steve Walsh.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
And he is the one that sings "Carry On My Way."
Okay.
He has a higher voice.
Okay.
So I loved how they began the song with the deeper voice with what's his name, Robbie, and then Steve came in, and and Robbie plays the violin and sings so well. So, but yeah, like you were saying, it sounded a little bit like Emerson, Lake and Palmer for a second when he was doing
It definitely
the
could.
keyboards,
Yes.
the wheel.
Yes.
And they're so musical. Like I love. There was some Japanese. You noticed it. Some Japanese playing. I mean, I don't want to call it a scale, but it sounded very Japanese, very Oriental. But the whole thing is just like a giant like display of talent, like a lot of musical ideas. I love it. I'm kind of bummed that the people the guys that we'll see are basically not the ones that are playing. Maybe the drummer or
well, right here it says members, so these are the current members.
Yeah, so Kerry was, I think, the guitar player, and he's not there anymore. And then Steve Walsh was the keyboardist and singer. And then also the violin. So basically, but it's okay because, I mean, I'm sure they play Kansas just like the original Kansas.
Yes.
So otherwise they wouldn't be on tour and calling themselves.
He and Rich Williams are the only two members who have appeared on every Kansas album.
Philip?
So Phil and Rich. So the drummer and the bass or guitarist.
Guitar player. Okay.
Okay.
So at least we have two original members. I mean, come on, they're from the 70s.
That'll be cool. Yeah, and obviously
it's gonna sound friggin' amazing. I don't know who's singing now, but I mean, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna go and enjoy, and we can always listen to this too. But it's just amazing that we're gonna see this. I don't know if they're gonna play this because this is very underground.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
of
a
course,
deeper one, I guess.
Eric made sure to choose something not that popular, and that's how we roll. And what I wanted to ask you, and everybody else, like in the 90s or like 2000s, like video games were obviously, they didn't have all these orchestral sounds that we have now, and it was more like little tidbits of like 2 minutes of something very catchy, like Remember that music?
I remember that in our very first Kansas reaction, you said something about a 90s video game because I remember making the thumbnail too for that.
Well,
which one
like
was
for
it,
example,
Magneto or something?
Well,
like
remember when I recorded the little theme for Thunder Force?
Oh, yes, exactly.
Right? And I showed it to Eric, and he's like, oh my God, that sounds like Kansas. And I'm like, I know. And then he told me, well, my kids used to come home, and they was like, Dad, we thought you were listening to like video game music because it's so melodic that it sounds a little bit like what they used to do in video games, to give it this very catchy tune and then just loop it. Yeah. So... yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I'm loving this.
Me too.
Like you said, all the instruments that you mentioned, and they're just so well playing together in unison. And man, what a band. I can't wait.
Well, let's keep going. Yeah. We've got just a couple minutes left of the song. Sorry for the long pause, but there was a lot to say. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay, here we go.
Forth its secrets, held in mountain, sea, and plain. They have never been forgotten,
sounds so good. But that was the next song, and it's also 8 minutes. So sorry,
But
everybody.
this was awesome. I loved how it did run in, and I was like, oh, he'll probably cut it off as soon as the fanfare's over. And then I'm like, okay.
It's almost like
There was like a sweet spot there, I think, where it was kind of like finishing up the last song. But wow, what a track! Obviously, very progressive in all the changes that it had. And
I'm gonna say something that might cause a little bit of upset here, but I have to say that Kansas play their instruments on another level than the other bands. I mean, the other bands, and I'm not gonna say any names, so less drama, but I feel that some other bands are very good, but in execution of the instrument is not like that. This is like these guys are like masters of the instruments. The other bands are very inventive and have very good ideas and execute them, but the execution doesn't sound as clean. I think Kansas just sounds clean, like Dream Theater. You know, they play their instruments so well. There's nothing.
Maybe they're not as
I mean, these guys are very skilled.
These are okay. Kansas is very polished.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
The other bands sometimes are like, oh, maybe this doesn't sound like perfect, but that makes it perfect. You know, they're more like
No, I'm just talking about like as a musician. When you go see a classical like orchestra, if someone messes up with the bow or something it's like you're gone. You know, so I like that perfect execution. I like that in bands. I like bands that just play very, like you say, polished, very clean, very precise. If they're going to play fast, then they play fast, but with precision. And I think Kansas has that from the first album. That's just something that I love about them, that they sound very, and obviously very classical influenced, you know?
Yes.
So there's I don't know. That's just like something that I think makes this band very special.
I agree.
Like Rush, you know?
Yeah.
When you listen to Rush, it's very perfect. Everything is very polished. The drumming, there's no, you know, mistakes. And even though it's recorded, you can't really say, oh, that's a mistake. But you know what I mean. Sometimes some recordings sound better than others. This is just fantastic. Kansas, I must say, they're on my special list.
I agree. And I think we say that every time we listen to them, but we still don't do them as often as other bands.
We should, though.
And honestly, we like to go by what you guys want. And obviously, we'll do requests. We'll look at the comments like, okay, we haven't done this in a while or that. But Kansas, I feel like, is not one of those bands that people are like, you have to play.
Yeah. People are more, I mean, we have way more Rush fans and Yes fans and Genesis fans and ELP fans. Kansas is, I guess, maybe they started a little later, maybe, you know, it's 74. There are bands already on their fifth album, you know, progressive rock band. So maybe that's something, maybe it's just something that was always a little bit too new.
Yeah, that could be.
Or too busy. I love that it's so busy. I love all the changes and I love all the ideas. But maybe, you know, that could be also the case. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that whatever it is, I love Kansas. I'm excited we're going to see them. Thank you all so much for watching this with us, for sharing this track with us. Let us know if you had heard it before. When was the first time? We love to kind of live through your experiences in the comments too. So thank you everyone for being here, and we hope to see you all in the next one.
Thank you.
Bye. Everyone.